and all members and friends of Pennine Ham for the first evening that. Quite a few others already this evening, and I'll just go down the list and see who's going to start us off. G0 TVB, Paul, you logged on a couple of times, are you going to use or just want to chew this evening? Over to you, good evening. Nothing else from G0 TVB. GB7HX, I'll just see a repeaters connected to us. Nobody's logged on at the moment, but if you're in to join us, come back now, please.
ON8NT.
Nobody coming in, Larry Jackson, Malcolm, thank you for the use of the facility anyway. And also, a new call sign from down south of England. Mike 7, a Golf Papa Foxtrot. Golf Foxtrot Papa Ian. Tony down in Croscombe. Are you wanting to join in this evening, Tony? You're very welcome if you are. Nothing else from M7 GFB. So we'll go over to the call signs we recognise now. And JKJJ in the group, M0AG. Good evening, Lou.
M0 AUG and the group JKJJ. Yes, very good evening, Jeff. It's a pleasure to be back, and greetings to everybody else on the net and those that are listening. The WX in Nottingham, it's been cloudy all day, no rain, but cold and damp. 3 degrees Celsius at the moment. Activity on the vans. I've not spent too much time on the vans this week. I've been building this new 70 centimetre antenna for satellite work. But I did work a number of stations on Sunday, on the 25th, on 70s. This included Costa Rica, Puerto Rico, and Brazil. On Wednesday, the vans were very active, and my best DX was P4 OAA Aruba on 17 meters FT8. Today I worked a TT1 GD Chad, which is a new country for me and in a difficult direction because of the hill that I'm on. It rises to the south of me, and it does make working to the south more difficult. But it was a new country, and that brings the country count in just 2 years to 170, which I'm very pleased. In 2 years, that's good, I think, because in 48 previous years, I don't think I worked that many. Anyway, back to you, Jeff. M0 AUG, the group GAKJJ.
KJJ in the group, M0 AUG. Well, there's a fair collection there, Lou. I'd be very grateful for all of those myself. You've done really well with that, and I don't know how many DXCC countries I've got, but sometimes I've worked maybe once only, and yeah, what a good collection. Well done you on the way there, and of course, I hope you're all pleased with where you were able to get to, and the facilities you got down there. So thanks for that. Well, we can go the journey now, and DL1, the PJW with DL8 PET. Good evening to both of you, Mike and Angela, and over to you, Mike.
There's Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Very good evening to one and all, especially to Jeff and Lou and all the others who are listening and perhaps coming in after my over here. Yeah, we are okay over here, thank you. And hope same applies to everyone who hears this, who is listening to this. Temperature is mainly similar to temperature in Nottingham, about 0 to 2 degrees plus. the day over and dry, but the air humidity is very high. It's not raining, it's not snowing, or not yet, as the WX forecast tells us. And we are looking forward to fingers crossed for the next days, because it will stay cold and there shall be another amount of snow, but not so much as we had a few days ago. There's still snow on the ground, and it's quite slippery, especially especially where the snow has been compressed by car tires or by people walking about it, and so it's a little bit dangerous outside, but everything okay, under control, I think. I hope so, anyway. So I'm passing the microphone to my brother, Better Tango.
Yeah, very good evening to all of you. Good to be here with you this evening. This is my brother, Tango. Yes, from my side, I can't report special things about ham radio right this week. Only the WW1 is running again, and I'm just trying to get a few points, and it's quite interesting and rewarding, but it's only to 20 watts. Not easy to get with all stations having high power, but it's quite interesting. So to only to left, let's yes, I can microphone AUG for food.
PDT with DL1 BJW in the group M0. And it's still a song, which is where we are in the UK. Down close to the west coast of Lakeshore. And very, very cold, but no snow. I think quite enough of this day. I don't still put it away. Thanks as well. Right, over to you then, Rick, and also welcome to anybody who's listening to this on the YouTube channel. G4IWO in the group, M0AUG.
Zero in the group from G4IWO. Yeah, thank you very much, Jeff, and good evening to everybody. And everyone is various things. The weather hasn't been fantastic, has it? We're actually forecast for a little bit of snow up here tonight, but the temperature is just freezing. We're at 1 degree here. It feels cold on that side because of the feeling that it's going to be turning into rain as it comes down more like speed. So that's the weather conditions here. Radio-wise, I've had a few days on to commuters mainly in the evenings on CW, some using my own call sign and some using the club call sign, MX0KSU, and having good fun actually using the call sign, talking to people about Pennine Ham and getting some people to feedback to us that may well turn up at club meetings in the future. Anyway, more about meetings and so on the next over, and good evening, of course, to those watching us live on YouTube this evening. Zero, AG in the group G4IWO.
G4IWO in the group M0AG, Tony. Yes, thanks for that, Nick, and look forward to the update on the next over with some of the huge items in the floor. Right, over to Oscar Zulu, your uniform of the group, M0AG, good evening.
Good evening to the group, and hopefully I'm actually getting out and getting this room. been active on the radio since November, partly because of rebuilding the shack, it's not finished, and partly due to the weather, because I can't really get outside to do things. It's a bit miserable out there. We've got -2 at the moment, and 3 coming down. It's been like so maybe not. Some places have since we do 3 or 4 meters instead. And maybe more coming. It's coming wind traffic and but it's dry, so that it's not very, very frosty, light, blowing all over the place, causing. As I said, I've got the rig in front of me, connected, no transfers or anything like that. Or holes through to get the antenna cables out of the garden. And I wouldn't be surprised if I get under an hour full of water and standing out there for a long time and not being used. So, lots maybe. The only nice thing is this weekend we've got one folk group who's running around in Denmark, but minus a place to play on Sunday. So put them up, give them food, and they put on. So we're going to have about 35 people in our house, and have a nice concert. So that's about the only thing that is of interest. I'll sit on the side for now, because I've really got nothing else for it. So back to you. I really don't know. Oh, yeah. M0 AUG, doing radio.
Oh, very well, JK. You're in the group M0 AUG returning. Okay, there, President. The chart from any to comment on everything that I hope your concert goes very well. They sound like who was doing in the group.
The group overnight of our time. Very good evening to everyone. Also very good evening, very good day to everyone on the YouTube channel. I hope everyone is okay. Weather-wise, we have 2 degrees cloudy. Yesterday we had some rain, no snow, no ice for moments. Actually, the temperature will rise up to 10 degrees next week, I think. So that's maybe good news, I think. Okay, though, the conditions actually, I think it was Monday or Sunday afternoon, I don't know. Conditions on 10 meters were actually excellent. I worked a whole bunch of Americans and Brazilians. I think was it Monday afternoon or Sunday afternoon? I don't know anymore. Well, anyway, and just like our friend KJJ, this afternoon I worked at 2.1 Golf Delta in Chad on 12 meters. So we have to work that one. I think I have never worked them before. So that's the good news. More news on the next hour, so I give it back to you, Jeff. I feel aim to the group. Oh, it ain't about the tango.
I ain't never been tango in the group. I'm seeing a radio Jerry. Yes, fine, all right, Jeff. Also, I'm not had any time where there are things going on to do much of radio at all. Like I did this last week, and then it was calls and net on Sunday morning. And apart from working with people locally who were doing poster results, I don't think I've actually been on the side of the radio call in the last 7 days. There we go. It happens like that sometimes. Go to come on, Julie, and with you, Frank. in Kiel. And she's
Right. Hello. Good evening to everyone in the group. And yeah, I joined a little bit late. And I had to pick up some stuff. So if anybody of you is interested in about tomorrow morning, yes. Yeah, that's another thing which I think is sometimes necessary to do. And some people cannot think about their hobbies, but some people to think about something video. Kiel has shifted its kind of the fantastic is using so-called long pass but they can showing up here in Kiel now, but they have lots of vision. They want to medium fast, which is higher speed, less horsepower, very optimistic, but since there are more stations, they so the packets are just some more hops and maybe less collisions and better range. So they are experimenting with that. Our mesh testing node on the roof has really kind of have contact with the load and short range contact with pick up other stations also not being able to take it off and maybe it's there for the internet just to whatever investigate. Yeah, more on the next over at UG.
Thanks very much. The group M0 here today. Yes, one and a half rank and going upon the roofs to play with antennas with the surround. Okay. I don't think we've got anybody else in the group at the moment. I think I don't know. So I'll go back up to the top of the list and also just go back to GFB totally down. Are you interfering on the others? Nothing. Tone is connected, but probably not even listening there. So there we are. Apart from the score you get with the last over there.
M0 AUG in the group JKJJ. Yes, thanks, Jeff. And Adriana, I do understand trying to work a contest with no power. It does present a problem. I did a lot of work on VHF just a few months in those days. And probably the higher powered stations were working all the stations. You couldn't get it. It is a problem. Nevertheless, it's very, very enjoyable if you do manage it. And yeah, okay, Jeff, November Tango, has been open on a number of days. And I was very difficult of the Delta route, but it's been so cold in the car. And it doesn't take long, but I think I'm getting a little bit mixed by the cold weather. I do have a question. Does anyone know if the RSG or some other organisation has had any discussions with the emergency organisations in the event of a catastrophic for drawing up in the event. And they've identified that in such a situation, communicating each other when the internet and phones are down will be a major problem. And it seems to me that radio amateurs could be involved in organising and passing information between groups that are involved in rebooting the internet. Anyway, it's just a question. Maybe somebody's got some information that might throw a light on that. So back to you, Jeff. M0 AUG and KJJ.
KJJ and Group M0 AUG. Not heard anything about that at all. It sounds like it's something that's going on in the background. I don't know. But everybody's in the UK so far. And we've got something to contribute on that one. But obviously, if the internet goes down, it's not going to be able to climate anymore. It's more serious for them. And we're doing discussing this on the line. Over to you, Mike, deal WAVT. How much do you like it?
There's a Bravo Juliet Whiskey. To Lou's question, possibility that the internet could be rebuilt by amateurs for I've got no information about this here in Germany. I know that there's amateur radio emergency system which handles the shortwave and VHF, UHF traffic, but no information about the internet. There are plans in existence in radio stations to build up stations to communicate in case of emergency, but nothing on the internet topic as yet. The WWA contest it's to an end time, and we have entered into it in the 2nd or 3rd of January, and I've been using throughout 40 to 45 watts. There's no QRP, but not 100 watt either. And I've called it quits now. I've got 3,500 points, or the equivalent of 400 euros there. And that's very, at this moment, I'm in worldwide rank of 164,000 hunters. I'm ranked number 2,000, rank number 310. So a little bit days, but I will not do anything new there. It has been quite a deal because what I said is true. Lots of call stations, and there are also lots of people obviously explicitly doing something nasty to the other contestants by putting big signals with no message whatsoever over contestants there. And it's a little bit, not so nice. But to live with it, and it has been very interesting experience. In the course of this I've had 2 nice contests which are memorable. The first one is on 10 meters. Takes our 45 watts, and was hit at halfway outside. And the 10 meter contact was Mauritius. 3 Bravo Bravo 8 Whiskey Alpha, and the second one was with Thailand, 30 meters Whiskey Alpha, and both stations were very patient. I have to say that, because it was difficult for me difficult for them to but we got over it, and stations I could recommend them as being very patient and the CW workers. Okay, that's far from my side. What fluent data made by the Delta? Thank you.
Yes, that's Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango for the group. Fraser, that's quite interesting what you told about the music group, which was there around Denmark. It's quite a good concept, going into the country and playing for and so on. Quite interesting. Good concept. And yes, congrats to your successful chat. This is quite extraordinary. I never listened to any station of that, and if you contact us, it's quite amazing. Yes, on my side here, I had several contacts with all over Europe. Low power, this was quite interesting, and all the contests, my station turned out from Russia, which my contact, and it was who was quite patient and lowered to my low speed, and several several, and I understood what he gave me, and there was no need to guess what he might have given. So it was quite good. Nothing for radio operators who are quite firm in and fabulous interview operators. I have information for DLA. He will be mobile, portable from traveling to Norway from just look at the 1st of January, the 8th of February, and there he will do frozen water every day. And as I message on Facebook, he will rent a car, and he will be from CWSB, and the car will, he said, accommodation for the so he will sleep in the car. I don't know how he so perhaps someone might work him. So that's also microphone back to AUG.
TL8 PVT with DL1 BJW. Well, that was it's one place that I've never worked at all. Obviously, doing parties coming to in a few weeks' time to just think it's dollars in a few minutes, but I know I'm else to make the call. To get contact and put places on the map. That's really fun.
In the group from G4IWA. Yeah, no problem. And yeah, Adrian, posting that I have reposted Pennine Ham Club page that is going to QRB from Norway. He's not, I had visions of it way up a frozen waterfall with ice axes and crampons and so on the radio at the same time. Thank goodness he's not even going to, not even everyone's going to try it. He's going to be operating from his car to sleep in. So I guess on CW in particular, the best place to look in the evenings is to type in his call sign, LA, LHJ. Yeah, he's going to speak in the club on his the expedition party at the end of last year to Sierra Leone, also across to Banana Island. And I did manage QSOs, I think, on three bands with Sierra Leone. I wasn't able to break the pile up for because he was doing that himself on Banana Island. So he's going to tell us all about that and no doubt other things as he does. At this point, I don't see anything at all from the RSGB about using radio enthusiasts and members of the RSGB to provide an alternative system of communication. We've got a number of radio actors, including, I know at least a couple, more than two actually, that participate in the mesh network, mesh stick network, which exists pretty well covering the structure of the UK, where people send messages to each other and are able to do it without a need for a dedicated computer. It's completely centralized, and I know Keith is the person really to be just safe about when he comes to the club meeting here on the net, GM4JKZ, because I know he's involved in some community mesh activity. And if you look at the node that's been set up for helping receive and pass on messages around the country, around the countries of the United Kingdom, you will see quite a few of them have got their amateur radio use in there. Using radio to send packets of information is nothing new to many people on this net tonight. It's something that I tried many years ago using the older packet networks on VHF in particular. But this is slightly different because it's much more open and doesn't require radio to participate. So no doubt we'll hear more about that. Yeah, I think what I've been doing today, preparing for next Saturday on the 7th of February to participate in 145 Live for the afternoon. That's from 12 to 3. I've got no idea what propagation is going to be like on the day. You know, we're very lucky. We'll be talking to Jeff out in Belgium. He always manages to work someone from the UK with a nice lift. But I've obviously got no idea what the weather conditions are going to be like. I hope it's not too dreadful because I'm planning to go up to a site just very close to me called Blackstone Edge next to the reservoir, which is over 1,500 feet above sea level. It's quite windy up there at the best of times, but it has lots of directions, and I'm hoping that, I'll be able to make quite a few contacts on 2 meters. But I'm going to also set up a certain 40 meter antenna, or perhaps my inverted V off center dipole, and run more than 40 meters. I'm primarily going to be operating on 2 meters FM and 2 meters single side. I can go on 40. And if I'm also able to, I'll try going live while I'm there on Zoom a little bit as well, and tell people what to out for us and so on. So that's next weekend. Next week, of course, we've got a WV1, a W Don Dickey, who has written 3 different books about parks on the air, in particular dedicated to the equipment. We've had several speakers. I mean, Paul, I thought M7CUW gave a lovely talk about parts of the. What we've not had so much of is kind of detailed information about different kinds of antennas that operators are using. And we've had several people talk about what they themselves are using, but we've never had a talk primarily aimed at that. And I think that's what Don is intended to do when he gives next Wednesday evening. So very much looking forward to both those meetings. So back to you, Jeff. Zero, are you joining group for IWO?
DG60AY. DG60AY. ON8NT.
For those listening on YouTube, and I'm sat in front of the radio here, it does look as if there are some problems with the reflector. So various people are trying to
DG60AY.
transmit. I've got a feeling that most might over
ON.
actually heard.
ON8NT.
AT&T for IWO. I heard you, but I guess we've lost lots of contact with each other.
Okay. I think maybe Jeff has a problem. I don't know. My 08. Try to fly over. Okay. Okay, some news, radio news. First of all, I got a smartphone as part of my expired. We got both of smartphones. We got a offer that we could not refuse. So we have both a smartphone, which took us the whole afternoon to install and configure and so on and so on. And we could have done it, but I said, wow, I can do that. So I had first a lot of, radio apps and so on and so on. Oh, I do a double QRX.
Oscar Lambert, Tango, Zero Agency.
Okay, Jeff, are you receiving me?
I don't know what's, I don't know whether there's been an issue on the
Oh no, it was just silence, and together with Nick, I tried to take it, but I don't know. It was just it was my turn. So I will take it, Jeff. 50AG, the group over there of Hammer Tango, just starting to.
Okay there, Jeff, just take it on your turn. Thank you.
Okay, Jeff, Mike, AUG, ONA of Hammer Tango, just telling that we both, my wife and I, had a new smartphone. I could to change everything. I know I could have asked the shop to do that. I think they do it for free, but well, I told I could do that. So yeah, very interesting. I learned a lot during all that. Last weekend, I participated at the British Amateur Radio Telephone Group contesting the QRP class, all bands. Worked 62 stations in the day afternoon. The conditions were poor. Actually, I worked for Americans and one Brazilian, and then on Sunday morning, the conditions were really very, very bad. So, well, 60 stations with 5 watts is not that bad, I think. I got my certificate from the UBA PSK 63 test. I was the seventh worldwide in the QRP class, the seventh worldwide, but there were only 9 participants. So anyway, and I was the first in Belgium, and there were only 3 participants in Belgium. So, well, anyway, I enjoyed that. Okie-doke. Yeah, the question about from Lou about the internet going down. Actually, what I'm doing every Wednesday, I'm part of a worldwide exercise which is actually dealing with that question. I think because we have the WinLink Wednesday exercise, WinLink program which you could do over the radio, so you don't need any internet at all. And over the radio, and actually here in Belgium we have 3 nodes, 3 WinLink nodes, one VHF and 2 or 3 on short, 3 different bands, and there is no activity in that field. I think has probably to do with your route. But anyway, a worldwide, right? There are, if you look to the car, that's really in UK. Another thing which is used in such exercise is FLD. FLD. You can send forms just like the WinLink. You can send forms, standardized forms to report on disasters or things, just made. There are existing a lot of forms which you can use to do that in a standardized way and to transmit that. And with FLD, you can send also these forms. You can also send photographs of the situation, for example, and also GSA code and VARAC used in those conditions. This is something which is widely used, but which is in place, I think, in most countries. There are lots of other companies also in that. I looked to the Dutch side because you said that was in the Netherlands. I looked to the national society in the Netherlands. I couldn't find any difference to that, and also to their RS, Dutch amateur radio emergency service, and I couldn't find any reference to what we were mentioned to. So it would be interesting to have any on that maybe send that. There's something in place. So there are email programs exchange files and documentation and so on. And the radio if the internet is not working. So I put it back to you, Jeff. 90AUG group over Echo Hammer Tango.
Tango in the group M0 AUG returning. Yeah. To Nick, who was next in line at that particular time. It was just simply silence. Tried doing fine, Jeff, and nothing heard at all. So, yeah. I know we're talking about, we've come to realise all that. And there you go. Final forward. We may not have many contestants in those contests. You were other people and the ones who were final class. Yeah, sorting is on versions of mobile phones. Well, that's the thing in itself. We changed Maureen's phone a couple of months ago, and let me say the big challenge as well. So thanks for all that. Right, I think I'll leave it to Keel right now. GG6OAY with her. G.
G6OAY, thank. I also experienced a kind of outage my rescue down and quite a few of batteries, but the users but solar panels are not bringing or not harvesting enough energy for charging. If there are some cloudy days these nodes do die. During the summertime it might be fine, but they really noticed that it's not a perfect network for emergencies. I think an emergency would also put on the net that it would just break down because many nodes are not developed from the house, so they will be taken down, then there will be gaps between the network and also probably just any messages. Now when the staff and working guys, the node owners don't it's a kind of really just pick up radio network and be using it just for but not sending messages. That's at least the situation. I would say that it's a little bit different there, but here they set up a network and they talk about ground chat. So which would be so different and be so experience that I have still felt be helpful. For that, repeaters here are partially being connected to the network. The very internet compatible network. There are probably only very few connections to the internet. So without the internet, so the links between the repeaters, which are if the repeaters
Nearly irritating. Yes, fine on that, Frank. And just if you so there was something on the D-Star network or the internet doing that. On D-Star and everything else, I've never experienced something like that. With Nick and I using the terminal mode. I did actually my internet was showing solid unless I actually know the route in the process and maybe not a different I don't know if it goes there at all. Please, there's other people got it as well. And then I'll just like that.
G and the group GAKJJ. Yes, thanks, Jeff. And yeah, I had an outage here as well. The last part of Nick over, and I didn't hear anything until Jeff came on after a few wait. So yeah, I don't know what that was. But anyway, yeah. First of all, the well on your contest, is a good way. I think it's 3,100 points. I know it's used for fairly low power, so I think it's pretty good. And for the information, there's plastic. Yes, I did know about that. I think that's the PMR people are organising. But I don't think this was. I don't think this was necessary. I was reading in the New Scientist. It was November issue of the New Scientist. Well, that week, I don't always read it in the order that it comes, I sort of pick and choose. This was one that I'd left, and it was mentioning the fact that in Spain and Portugal there was a power outage, which caused all the phones to go down. It caused the internet to crash. Of course, the banks couldn't handle any accounts and so on. It seemed quite a problem actually for Spain and Portugal. So I did wonder if people were sort of getting together to alleviate the problem in some way. And of course, amateur radio is ideally placed with standalone network with other amateurs to pass information and to communicate and that sort of thing. Okay, Jeff, Owen, AT&T, the worldwide data, that sounds very interesting. I'm very interested in data, so I imagine that's why you were getting involved in that. But it sounds though some countries are a lot further ahead than others, and I think the UK is a little bit behind. Well done, Jeff, on your 66 stations on British. Very nice. Anyway, I've got a picture this week because the handheld is still not functioning properly. So I'll probably try and get back to the pictures next week. And so I'll pass it back to you, Jeff. M0 AUT in the group, KJJ.
KJJ in the group, M0 AUG, returning. Okay, conflict. Yeah, I never got a chance to talk about the scores that you got there, Mike, on the WWA. Because I was going to pass it over to that's when everything stopped. Quite interesting that it just seems as if whatever this was connected to, it just timed out. So whether it was reticent, because that's where the field farm is on the data set in the city of Manchester. So whether it's something like that or just a general internet thing, knows that I'm probably got it back up again. Congratulations on the scores being cut in the contest there. Right, over to you again now. And if you want to make your flight, that's okay. If not, another round afterwards. You're on BJW, DLA, BTT, M0 AUG, taking please.
Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey. Yes, we take the opportunity to make this all. On 8 November, we're excellent results there. Impressive what you achieved with only 5 RT other mode. That's really excellent. And yeah, always a little bit jealous that because you're there, you seem to have an excellent uptake from your upper story there into amazing. Nothing to compare to a year with our QT. Yeah, tell us. We've still went past the cover antenna as a which was frozen all nevertheless worked, and the antenna at a height of about I think and during the period, and we had 2 centimeters of ice on it, and I was afraid that everything so good, but interesting to watch. Yeah, so I say thank you very much for your posting, doing an excellent job, and yeah, what the it's having an outage and going poof, so to speak. I'm not sure what is happening there. We've got these problems from time to time here also, especially at special times as 7 p.m. local time. This is always bad time to be on the internet because there are lots of breakups and interruptions. And I'm not got the reason for this, but interesting why this has happened. Yeah, so thank you much for all your work. You are very interesting. Yeah, that was again, it's always very entertaining, also very informative. And thank you for your company. Hope to see you all safe and sound next week, and perhaps even all the very best 73s from Delta Lima 1 Bravo Juliet Whiskey, and like Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta.
Yes, Delta Lima 8 Bravo Delta Tango was the finalist. Thank you all for listening. And yes, I'm looking very much forward to the talk next Wednesday. It will be interesting to see and hear what he will tell us about the equipment, especially about the antennas. Quite interesting. So sometimes summer will come and we'll go outside with the presentation of mobiles again. This will be quite good. From my side, I 53 and 88 from Germany. Bye-bye. Heading on back to F0 AUG for
PDT with the old one BJW in the group, and apologies on behalf of the internet for the disruptions of because the three of being on the first evening as one of the highlights of the week. Otherwise, that would be good to be a month for that. So, on the first evening. And although I've got really conversations, no agendas, I think agendas as well. Well, thanks again for joining us. Stay safe and not fighting with you both next week. I'm just assuming at the moment they want to have a picture for us as well as you. So just jump over to see if you're doing fine. Thanking you. And from the come back to so Oscar Zulu 1 Kilo uniform.
Yeah, I'm still here. I'm just a penny too. Nice and interesting. Everybody, etc. That sounds to me something somewhere that you call it. But anyway, it's not a server or a D-star. It's called something a reflector. It was like someone pulling from the server. Never mind. The group that I got to up in Worcester, we're interested. Tactic is a off-grid codes, etc. It works on the 9, free areas. But you can put, we've got 2 or 3 nodes on the other, so more on high buildings, and one's on a 100 meter high. They are very low to the thing, and they are no bigger than a box for fantastic is .org is the website that anybody wants. Yeah, our internet is due to the fact and everything comes by the internet. We'd be absolutely lost if they happen here because we're too reliant on the real. I mean, everything's done on your phone and that. The other day, I said, no, actually, just one of those things. But we're very sort of hit if the internet goes down. I can show you that. It's great. The phone is for workplace, and everything is more or less different place, I think. Anyway, I'm waffling a bit. Everybody need you have to do this, and they are coming next week. Hopefully, we get some ups and more. Cool. Those everyone, JKU. Back to you, Jeff.
The group M0 AUG returning, yeah. Yeah, thanks for the not everything up to it at all, so enjoy this again next week, especially if you can help digital schools. I'm going to leave this place first. Over to you and Frankie Keel for your final. PG to AY. Yeah, well, I was trying to get my mesh signal back. I have some days for testing and the new and actually I'm already looking forward to time and some holiday. I took a holiday on one of the islands. Sure. Coincidence that island has a quota number. Could be down there on that island, and it's of the Northern Sea. This national park begins our you have to get about 30 meters or so east, and then you would be at a station inside the national park. I will figure out how that works and what you have to do to be really inside the park. Of course, do something like that. But, next week, on Thursday, will be a concert in Hamburg. So next week, but the week after that, that should be it. And thanks again, Jeff, for hosting the and so yeah, I just with the from 6 to 8. So we're in the group M0 AUG returning. Yes, fine enough, Frank, and contest, the concert, no, the contest, the complexity, concert next week. So enjoy that. Right. So what we'll do, you guys have on the So I go back to you and to do around Dublin, and we'll come to you where you feel confident.
Are you group from G4IWO? Yeah, my apologies for things. We've got a speaker on Wednesday nights with Don WVW. It's going to be talking about parks there. And if you haven't already done so, strongly recommend you click on the photo of the book, your website, or the email, and it will take you to a page which will allow you to download these free on using ham sticks for POTA expedition. And it's actually quite interesting read. 20 pages, which you can download free of charge. Very simple to do. Saturday, I'm going to be up operating Golf Bravo 2 Papa Hotel in the Blackstone. Ken, GVZ, is going to be operating Golf Bravo 4 Papa Hotel down Bradford. And Owen, another club member, M0 OGR, is going to be operating Golf Bravo 2 Mexico at Castle Hill. So look out for if there are lifts into Europe, we might see attacks. They'll be local. I will also go on 40 metres and I'll post details of those activations to make QSO two people next Saturday afternoon from the top of Blackstone up here in the southern. So we've got coming up after that, we've got some other speakers. Of course, we've got Tim and the late JJ, and look forward very much to talk about his expedition to Sierra Leone, because it's quite an interesting and very good. We've got from the Long Island CW Club, our WB2 user, organising talking about the story of Long Island CW Club and which will be of interest. But we've got some others which I'm working on at the moment. I know who the speakers are, but we haven't yet seen the date. But content I know of what some of these people are intended to talk about will be interesting. So just look out for dates on the emails and the club calendar on the website. So thank you very much, Jeff, and greetings to everyone. Nice to hear people tonight, and look forward to some. And yes, I'm just going to send a very quick photograph as well when we exchange. So back to you, 0 IWO.
G4IWO in the group M0AG returning. It's thanks, Mike. On the internet, very, very strange. It was all careful. And I'll come back to you, your picture, Jeff, Nick. Take Jeff's picture. We're going to follow before we do pictures, Jeff. Go ahead. Everything go. M0AG.
Yeah, okay. Mike 0AG, the group okay. Hope you on everyone. I don't understand why the internet collapsed for some minutes or so ago. Yeah. Very interesting about Germany. They have their own internet, so to say, with Hamnet, and I know that there are some things about that we want to have more links with Germany with the help of Hamnet. And there is also a domain, the domains, the DNS, normally outfit with one ID and things like that. But there is a domain which is especially reserved for amateur radio, and that's the domain which starts with 444. And these are especially for ham radio amateur clubs, associations, and so on. And also play a role in this story about the internet collapse. We have to have that. Yeah, okay. I really enjoy the Winlink Wednesday because we get the homework, so to say, so we have to describe a disaster or simply the weather or something else, and then we have to choose the right form and send that into the central board there through the notes which are available on VHF, on UHF, and on shortwave. So the program which helps you to choose the right station on shortwave, taking into account propagation and so on, propagation, moment of the day, of the year, and so on and so on. A very useful, actually. And you can also send emails peer-to-peer. So if I would like to send an email to you, I will have the program on your computer connected to your transceiver. I will send you the emails and all kinds of documents and so on with that system. So it's quite handy. And I think that's a lot of alternative. I think especially could play a role in certain situations. And in other situations, be more riddling or something else. So you really need a toolbox with different tools for different situations. That's actually the important lesson that you could learn out of that. I give you the microphone coming back. Yes, I'm ready to send the picture if you want and give me some directions when and how each side. My zero aim is to take on the thing.
In the group, 0AG returning. Yes, fine on that, Jeff. And but if you'd like to just send your picture, like, we'll see what afterwards. With the 0AG. G3M0UG. Perfect copy on that one. November 8, November Tango.
Copy here also, but with your the slow mode, you have hit voices and the Shaki Chai, so you should use PXO. P4
Oh, no, November Tango G4IWO. Yeah, I tried to use TXL Bluetooth headset for the audio here, and it didn't look as if it could transmit without BTT. So that was slightly. My apologies for it taking so long. And yeah, that's going to be that's up here in the pen. You, Jeff.
G4IWO M0AUG. I was just pausing because I wasn't sure which. I've been over there many, many times for years and years ago, I think so. Well done on that one. Your picture, and then I'll pass back to you for your comment on that, Nick. Over to you, Jeff. G, the group.
AUG, the group for 8 November Tango, the picture that I going and this is a very flat country here, Alpha dry, leave it in the spot. Very have a hill here, the French border, and the tower, or a tower, which is picture, has been Compass station, SHF Compass station, is great. As hope decrease with different stations on all HF frequency. Unfortunately, only a local authority decided to that the building to have a place where we can do something. So we were kicked out. So no radio amateurs allowed there anymore in that building because during touristic season, if there's some nice weather, there are a lot of people cycling and walking around there, so it's quite busy and very busy there. So the picture is coming. If you are
we'll see you next week. So over to you, Jeff. Oscar, then bring up everybody playing the show this evening, and also